Hello, and today we are speaking with Michelle Fontanet from the Deliberato Law Center in cold Cleveland, Ohio. Hi, Michelle.
Hi, Molly. How are you?
Good. Thanks for being here today. I'm excited. So we're going to kick off immediately with digital and social media in regards to as a marketing strategy. And Michelle and I have been working together for many, many years. And I asked her if she'd join us today to talk about a lot of law firms and a lot of lawyers are really scared, for lack of a better term, of launching Facebook ads in particular. That's what we're going to speak about today. And, writing content and putting stuff out there, spending all the money on it without any guarantees of leads, etc. It's an unknown animal for many law firms. And Michelle's law firm, Michelle is the director of marketing for her solo practitioner, and they have a couple independent contract attorneys as well. And she works about 16 hours a week or so, Michelle, ideally.
Ideally, I would love that. I'm more like in the 20s, usually
Okay.
about 8 hours a week. But yeah.
Okay, great. So she's not full-time marketing coordinator, but they're crushing it and they're reaching goal. And I've asked her if she would just share with us of taking that scary leap of launching Facebook ads and share a little bit from her perspective of when they launched in, when was that? April, May?
I think like around April, yeah.
Yeah, so share with us a little bit about getting Matt to buy into the idea, number one, and then number two, just kind of your journeys thus far. So it's been about 7 months now, and what it's been like for you all.
So we were a little bit nervous about doing the whole Facebook thing just because our clientele is an older clientele. And so we were nervous that maybe, Facebook would shut them or like turn them off by, seeing promotions to come to our workshop. But, so it was definitely, we were hesitant at first. And I mean, it was a couple thousand, but it wasn't like, we've spent money other ways and we've gotten nothing in return. So we had done some TV ads and stuff, and like we weren't filling our workshop seats at all. So we thought, well, we might as well give it a try for a couple months and see if it works. I mean, we have really nothing to lose. So we signed up with the company, and since we've signed up with them, our workshops have been filling. So it kind of eliminated obviously it eliminated our fears because our seats were getting filled. But we were getting some the second thing you kind of worry about is what kind of leads are you getting? And so we just kind of tweaked some things to make sure that they were like homeowners and however they work their thing, it took the stress off of me because that's not my forte. So like if I were to try to do my own ads, like trying to figure out how to like find qualified leads, I didn't trust that myself. I could find them on my own by doing my own Facebook ads. So they've taken the stress off of us by doing that, and it's working great. I mean, we're filling our workshops. Not everybody shows up, so there's definitely like a lot of follow-up to happen, which that's probably the biggest downfall about it, but we're still constantly flowing people in the system, and the people that don't show up, they're getting subjected to our newsletter, our blog. So like I'm taking their email and, we're following up with them to reschedule them for a workshop, and then they're constantly seeing our stuff.
Yeah. So the model that you're using is a done for you model, so to speak, where you hire an outside agency, and I could put the agency name in the notes for anyone who's interested in getting on a discovery call with them. But you're using an outside agency that is writing copy, doing all the targeting, writing all the ads, and basically all you need to do is give them a credit card. Most.
And we supplied a video, and like every once in a while they'll ask us to update the video, and so we'll record something really quick and they'll give us feedback if we need to change something up, and it's been a great, easy process.
Okay, great. So this might be a model for some people, and we're talking about today not is proof of concept. For Michelle's practice, they focus in the estate planning and elder law arena, as she said, mainly elderly clients. as we go through the different weeks in the marketing, mastering your next law firm marketing move here in this Facebook group, Rosalind's going to be working very closely with you of how to lay it out and what pieces you need. To Michelle's point, you need to pay attention to copy. You need to pay attention to the picture. Do I do long form? Do I do short form? To the targeting, who are we targeting? And then, of course, when they click on your ad, then going to landing page and the clarity and the viability there on the call to action. And so the route that they chose, because as Michelle said, they were spending money anyways. They had a line item. This is considered digital marketing, and they were doing retail marketing. So they said they had nothing to lose. They're already spending money. You did direct mail in the past. You've done TV in the past. You've done ads in the paper. So clearly a law firm that is invested in spending money in marketing, in addition to putting Michelle's precious time of, 16 hours of active marketing, and then she has time for reporting and team meetings and marketing meetings and things of that nature. So they're invested, they're in. And like you said, we know we're willing to throw it against the wall and see what sticks and take that risk and see what happens, because that's just something that we're willing to do as a law firm, right?
Yes. And I mean, it's really worked out for us. This is the most I've been with the firm for, oh God, I don't even know, maybe 3 years now. And we've been doing workshops since I've been there. And this is the most we've ever filled seats. And it's consistently every month we're filling our workshops. I mean, some there's not, some you'll have as little as 10 because Cleveland has really not so great weather. And so it just depends. Sometimes if it's really nice, people want to embrace the weather and they don't show up, or sometimes it's really bad and they don't want to come and go over, trying to way through the snow. So,
okay. So the first tracking is getting click from the ad to a registration, and that's a conversion. That's a very, very great conversion, because to your point, whether they register for the workshop, show up for the workshop, or hire us, we consider that a win, because we get their email address, we get their phone number, and because you have so many nurture and drip systems in there between your newsletter and your blog and things of that nature, a lead is a lead is a lead is lead, as well as you put value add content out consistently, correct?
Correct.
Then the second piece is, okay, they register for the workshop. And so that they're already expressing interest and raising their hand and say, yes, I'm in. And do you have an idea of what percentage register and then no show?
I would say it varies from workshop to workshop. Like I said, like the weather and stuff definitely plays a factor. I would say consistently we have at least 50% that show up.
Great.
And sometimes it could be more, sometimes it could be a little less, but I would say about 50% show up. We've been trying the company that we work with are really great with bouncing ideas back. So I'm like, okay, I don't feel like I'm getting qualified leads. They help me tweak some things some more. Or I'll say, okay, people aren't showing up, so I'm doing different follow-ups that they recommend, and some, just trying to find whatever the perfect thing is. I mean, it takes time. And that's the most important thing. I think it's important not to give up right away, especially if we're filling the seats. Anything's going to take time. So you just have to be willing to take the time to see if it's working or not.
And I love that you say that, because I always tell people, try something for 6 months before you pull the plug on it. But I remember at one point, you and I, after 2 months or what have you, we were getting so frustrated. We're like, these leads are garbage. But even though we were getting leads, we were excited that we were getting leads, but we were like, oh, I don't know if this is going to work. And what was it, maybe month 4 or 5 where it was consistently qualified leads, and you thought you hit this sweet spot?
Mm-hmm. I would say probably after, because we tweaked it right away. Because at first, we're like, okay, something's not right. People are, some of people don't even own a home, so they don't really have assets, and they're coming. So we just making sure they change the landing page to make sure it says do you own a home? So it just takes time. You just have to tweak it to whatever your need is, and to get the clients that you want. And the company that I'm so glad we have this company to work with, because I know I could not do that on my own.
No, not, I mean, number one, from a skill set, and then number two, just from a time perspective, because now that you've gained that traction, now you're starting to see we have to follow up with these leads, right? So they come into the workshop, and the model that this law firm use, they leverage their time. So they'd rather have 40, I mean, isn't it how many people you're having in your workshop on average, around 40?
So we have a cap of about 50 to 60 people that we let register. And usually since about half show up, we usually have a room full of 20 to 25 on average. And so sometimes more than that. I think the most we've had is like 33.
That's great.
Workshop, but yeah.
Even that conversion, because in the retail market, and this is a form of even digital, it's less. They always say that you should expect about 22, 23%, and you're seeing around 50%, which just communicates that your content and your value ladder is spot on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So then talk to me a little bit about, so you start to get people, they're registering, it's working like a well-oiled machine. People are getting butts in seats, expecting 50% are going to show up, which you're delighted with, because the other 50% you're just hitting and nurturing with your content on your blog. And then your people come into, then after the workshop, they're like, I want to come see. The next step in the process is to come and sit and do a complimentary meeting with the attorney. And then you guys were getting bombarded. Now you didn't have a marketing problem. Now you had a client services issue where there was a cog in the wheel, right? Of following up with.
Yes, it was just so much follow up because, we have we have an evaluation that we have them fill out. And on the bottom of the evaluation, it says if you want to schedule the next step and coming in for a free consultation. And so people fill it out, but then we were letting them walk out the door, which they're still welcome to walk out the door. But like the follow-up that we had with that was between following up with people to try to reschedule for the workshop and follow up with people who attended and trying to get them in. Like our client service coordinator, she was getting bombarded. And so like I would have to step in to help her because it was impossible to keep up with just the clients that we had coming in from just this one marketing campaign. So we do our workshops in our office. And so we have now 2 people that stay behind. So we'll have like our client service coordinator and maybe our paralegal, or a lot of times I'll be there. So I'll go and help. And so we're there to schedule if they choose to. So we just kind of get their evaluation, say, we're scheduling them there. If you want to schedule now, like we'd be happy to schedule you. And I would say that at least, between 50 to 60% of the people that show up, they're scheduling right then and there.
Wow. And what was it before when you and you and Mary were dialing for dollars and constantly just chasing these people? What was it? I know you know the numbers because you send me your weekly KPI, right. But I know I'm putting you on this spot, but roughly just calling. We were closing, like getting them. So you're asking like how many people would I be able to get in for a meeting? I would say closer to 40. But prior to doing it in the back of the room when you were constantly just having to call them all the time, was it 40% then too? I would say about 40%. Okay. Maybe in the 30s. The problem with it is it just was so time consuming because we're calling them anywhere between 1 to 4 times. Yeah. So like we have 3 steps in the follow-up process. And so all those people, and you have 25 people, so say maybe like 20 buying units, or maybe not 20 buying, that would be like 12. Let's say that's like 13 buying units. Yeah. That's a lot of calls, and that's just from one workshop, and we do back 2 workshops in a week. So like that's just 25 people just to follow up with, plus all of our other clients that we have calling in. So it was just a lot of work. So this has helped eliminate some of that, where we're catching them right away, and that saves us 3 to 4 phone calls per person. Hours and hours of time too. Yeah. Well, great. And it increased your conversion rate from almost 20%, right? Yes. Yeah, I'll take that all day long. Yeah. So what would be some drive-by tips that you would leave for our client service coordinators that are listening and or our attorneys that are a little skeptical, nervous about spending the money, number one, and or deploying and putting their name out there, their face on video and things of that nature for Facebook ads versus the traditional ways that they've done it with TV and or direct mail that you've tried for many, and you've used for many, many years?
Just try it. It's working. And I mean, especially with our target market, I was the first skeptic. I'm like, I just don't see this being, like, I don't see the generation that we're trying to target. I don't see this being a hit. And I was completely wrong. So, like, I would have just assumed, like, I think of my grandparents and they read the newspaper and I think of them, but as I say that, I'm like, my grandma's totally on Facebook. So, like, I don't know why I was so against it, but just try it. It's worth a shot, and I would definitely don't be quick to throw it away. Like, it takes time. Make sure the other key is, like, finding a good company to work with that knows what they're doing.
Yes. Yeah.
It's definitely key.
Yeah, that's a good point because this isn't the first company that we use.
No.
We used the previous company. So when we finally got Matt on board with, okay, let's give it a try, when we totally got him on board, and then we used a company and we wasted a lot of money and time and frustration, right? That's true.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely worth, like, I think it also you got to find a company that that knows what they're doing. And you still have to give it time. Like, no matter what, you're not going to know until you give it time, but it's definitely worth the risk.
Yes. And we'll post it down in the show notes in the private Facebook group of Mastering Your Next Law Firm Move. We'll put there in the group of the company that Michelle's using. I have many, many clients that are using, or actually Rosalind's the one who introduced me to the company. So I'll make the introduction, and by all means, they buy it. They they versed in the estate planning and elder law arena in particular. So you made a great point. Just try it and give it a try if you're going to do it done for you. And or there are some firms that have a CMO on staff. I highly recommend that you watch the other training videos that Rosalind is going to be uploading in here in regards to how to own your own Facebook ads. And eventually, Michelle, you can get to that point when your babies are in high school and you have time for that.
Right, exactly.
You're like, I don't have time for that.
I don't know exactly. No. Especially now.
Yes. So, the one thing that just goosebumps me up and down is how you all are having so much fun now, right? You're not working as hard. And I mean this literally, like as you were chasing people and just trying to convince them in regards to client services and marketing. I know for a long time with TV, with radio, with direct mail, when you and I would run the reports each week and look at our leads and the conversion and the quality of them, we'd be banging our heads on the wall and everyone would be stressed out. Now you're making goal, and you have been consistently, but you're also having fun because it's running like a well-oiled machine, and nothing's more exciting to show up in your weekly team meetings with your marketing reports and be like, boom, look at this, look what we did this week, right?
It's awesome.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you for being our guest today, Michelle. I really appreciate it. And again, we'll put down in the notes and in the Facebook group all the information in regards to if you want to adopt a Done For You model like Michelle has. And if you have any questions for Michelle, please put them in the comments below and we'll make certain that we address them. Thanks, Michelle.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.